All right, everybody, it's that time of year again. It's Damer and Mac for OCR Kings, and as 2018 comes to a close, we're going to do a quick recap of the top 10 obstacles that we encountered this year. Some harder than others, some more technical, and some just straight up fun.
Some are real easy, but just fun and worth a mention.
Speaking of which, coming in at number 10, we've got the we're going to call them the upgraded buckets.
Spartan's buckets 2.0, basically, where they actually put the lids on.
I think that's genius for a couple of reasons. It should standardize the whole process. You don't have to sit there and fill a bucket. Somebody's got more, somebody's got less. You don't know if somebody's cheating or whatever. And this way everybody gets the same amount. And also they can just pop these things off the truck, stack them up, they're good to go. They don't need like a backhoe or something to fill the gravel pit and then scoop all that shit up and cart it away. They can just sort of speedily put these things out and they're ready to go. I think that's a real smart move.
Yep, and what I love about them is flip the bucket over. It's like you got a really nice kind of spot where you can grab on with your fingers and it's not just digging into your fingers. I mean, there was a time where I would debate wearing gloves like almost solely for this obstacle.
So right, absolutely right. That is probably the best benefit to us as the participants. Just the fact that you don't get that little guillotine edge that's going to like cut off your fingers at the bottom actually makes this thing, dare I say, comfortable. You also don't see a lot of piles of rocks on the course where people stumble or cheat and throw the rocks on the ground. Lids on the bucket, way to go, Spartan.
So the only thing that makes it a little bit more dangerous is when someone drops it on the steep terrain, like the New Jersey Super, and it becomes a rolling missile.
Right. Or it breaks your leg.
Yeah.
So give and take.
It could be dangerous, but overall, it was like it's always been an awesome obstacle. So the fact that they've standardized it made it a little bit easier for us participants. It was like it's on the list.
All right, coming in at number 9 from Warrior Dash is Pallet Jacked. It was kind of interesting. These plastic pallets that are suspended by these ropes.
Like they ship like milk on them or something.
It's kind of neat, little balance thing. They were uneven. Some were higher, some were lower, and they're moving while you're trying to get a grip and stand on them. It was neat. It was something I had never really seen before, so it was very creative.
You actually had to use some core muscles, just trying to keep yourself steady as you worked to the next one. I thought it was a little weird that they packed 4 of them in at this obstacle at Warrior Dash. So if you fell off one of these, like left or right, like you're gonna get hurt.
You're gonna get clobbered by the one next to you, like
From like a dangerous standpoint, that thing is at the top of the list.
Right. It would have been neat if they spread them out or had less lanes, so this way you could, if you fell, you actually fell in the water.
You just got water, and you're like, all right. And even if the water's not deep, so you don't drown, it's just enough that you don't smash your noggin on the next one.
Oh, that's right. Kind of neat. I liked it.
I mean, it wasn't super hard, but it was enough that you gotta hold on, you gotta move slow. You couldn't just rip through it. So I liked it. Yeah, it deserves to be on the list.
Coming in at number 8 is Accelerator from Rugged Maniac. Now, there are 2 versions of the Accelerator and Accelerator 2.0 or something like that.
Which the 2.0 was like the giant inflatable that they had at the end. Now this was the New England Rugged Maniac that we did in Southwick, Massachusetts. So it seems like this particular obstacle is kind of a permanent structure at that place.
Okay.
So I mean, it's kind of built. I mean, it almost looks like it's built into the dirt, or do they just lay it down on the dirt? I mean, either way,
it's fast shit. I mean, it's really
it starts out really steep, really fast. Obviously, you just kind of climb up an A-frame on one side, and then you just sit
like
on
gravity
this thing.
take a hold of you.
Yeah,
Not hard. It's not like a strength or a technical or anything. It's just pure fun. But man, you really zip down this thing. It was a good time. Boom. The 2.0 one, not as good.
It's just like the inflatable.
You might hear somebody in the video go, meh, at the end of it. Yeah, compared to the original, not as good.
So our next obstacle, coming in at number 7, is Off the Rails, which was also at the same location of Rugged Maniac. A really cool obstacle. I mean, it was basically like the rope and knot hanging, and you had to get a running start.
That's pretty cool.
And kind of just slide down the rail, and they had the typical bell, just like Spartan at the end, that you have to reach out and bang before you completely drop into the water.
If you don't get a running start, you're going to stall, and you're just going to be in the middle of the thing, and you're doomed.
Until you let go, and that's it.
So you got to take a real leap of faith and charge through it. But it's fun. It's worth it when you get to the other end. This kid over here next to you is like, came back. He's like, no, Mommy, I don't want to go.
It was like, maybe my one complaint is I like obstacles where when you complete it, you like stay dry, perhaps, rather than you fail and you're wet, or you succeed
and you're wet. Yeah.
I was like, it would have been nice to maybe have a winner's landing pad, or even better, I think it would probably be the best obstacle ever, is if you had a second section.
I think, yeah,
so you
totally
actually,
right.
And it was
awesome.
And it was going the other way, so you needed speed and transition and go to the second one and hope your momentum carries you, and it doesn't have to be as long.
Agreed.
To like a landing platform that you can just put your feet out, and yeah, that would be awesome. But yeah, very cool. Something totally different. Never seen anything like it. So number 7, Off the Rails at Rugged Maniac, New England. Number 6 is from our adventure at Toughest Mudder, and the obstacle is called the Stacks.
This thing is a monster.
And it was kind of the entrance to the venue, which is like 508 International, which is just like a monster dirt bike motocross venue.
Look at the construction on this freaking
Yeah, so it's just a bunch of shipping containers just piled up like 4 high. It's massive. So the first loop that we came around, we just see apparently this woman goes to climb up, and one of those first like A-frame boards, I think, like released and cracked her in the head, and she's bleeding all over.
She was
the
on the
place.
deck, just
and she was
done.
just laying there, and there was medical around her, and they just said obstacles closed. So coming around for some additional laps. You go up a couple of times, a couple of different levels. It's like an A-frame up, you go along, you go over the entrance area, then you come back down, and then you get to this edge where it's just a cargo net that you now have to down climb.
And nothing.
And there's
straight down.
It's straight down, and it's just hard dirt, and there's like rocks, like pebbles, like just. I can't believe.
You look back here. Look at the size of that thing.
Yeah, I mean.
What are those 12-foot containers?
Yeah.
3, 4 on top of each other? Yeah. It's at least 3.
Yeah, it's.
So their safety measure at the bottom, wood chips. So it was imperative that you kept some decent grip strength and you took your time.
But even there was a few people before I started that were just looking over the edge.
Yeah,
just
like,
no. How safe is this? I was like, this is like some World War II climbing down.
Seriously.
It was like into your Higgins boat.
It was just unbelievable. And this is in the morning. This is hours and hours later.
Yeah, this was done in the like. There were laps done in the dark. Yes, so really dangerous. Just a colossal, just enormously large obstacle.
I give them credit on the construction, the size, the breadth, the danger level of that thing. Okay, definitely. That's why it's a little higher on our list.
That's right.
Here we go, coming in at number 5 from Terrain Race is Tarzan Swing. Now, if you look at this, it's not very impressive looking. It's like ropes and rings. Big deal. Okay, so why did this make the list? Well, if you don't generate enough momentum, or even if you are swinging a little bit, you can get stuck. The parts were far enough apart where it wasn't just easy to grab and reach out. So I did get stuck. So this required a lot of strength over here.
Yeah, that dude next to you got stuck
he was done. The lady, she got stuck. So I had to climb up the rope. It's always easier to go up and then generate momentum as you come down. And I had to start pumping my feet. I even put it in little titles over here. And I started pumping back and forth. Back and forth. Back and forth. And if you look at this, yeah, you can see, all right, you're hanging there for a little bit. When I was on it, it felt like I was on there for hours, right? So finally I reach out, the crowd's like, yeah, and I got across. I like this too because it's simple parts. We could get all of those ropes. We have half of them. We've got the rings. We could kind of make this.
And that's absolutely a style we would make.
Absolutely. And it had ring grip this way, and it had rope grip that way. So you're working your arms and you're using your upper body. I like that. Not overly sophisticated, but it did require a bit of strength. So that's why this made our list. It's time now for a dishonorable mention. This thing is just horrible. So here's a dishonorable mention. Oh boy, wood construction from Warrior Dash. This is Rock Slide. Is that what this thing is called?
Was it rocking back and forth?
It's Rock Slide. No, it didn't rock at all.
I don't think it.
I approached this obstacle and I asked the girl, I said, what do we do here? She goes, anything you want, it's Warrior Dash. Okay. I mean, we do enjoy Warrior Dash. We had a good time there, but this thing is shameful. So, okay, this is Damer's POV. He gets on this thing, and all right, we can't figure out, is it supposed to rock? I don't know. So he's got these little handholds here. The bolts are not all the way into the wood.
Yeah, you can see down the line.
Giant murder splinters up here. It's like a battle with a vampire they're trying to slay. This is fucking terrible. So he keeps going down the line. Whoop, there's a missing handhold there. Yeah. That's a screw. All right? Keeps going, keeps going. Don't put your hand here. Look at that shit sticking out.
Oh, several screws.
It's like they should have called this like the tetanus shot. I mean, it's just bad. Warrior Dash, you can do better. This was not.
Just cut those off.
Just terrible. Just
loose bolt.
Shameful. And then basically, you just get down. So I get off it. You can see my face, and I'm like, I don't know. So, not the worst thing we've ever come across, but it was not good.
That was backyard build.
Not good, yeah.
All right, so back to Toughest Mudder, and this is RopeaDope.
Coming in at number 4. Yeah. I like this. You had mentioned about the rope in the water.
Yep.
You know, it's like anchored down there just about. You can't do the wrap technique with the rope.
Yeah, you can't technique. You can't do your foot over. I mean, I was kind of pushing them together, but the fact that it's weighted down and you have to climb up out of the water, it definitely forces you to be complete
upper body
strength
and real grip strength because it's wet as shit.
And the rope is soaked. And then instead of just a rope climb, just climb off rope, ring bell, climb back down, you actually have to transfer to a slanted rope that gets you away from the water and back onto solid ground. So that's cool. So you're on the one rope and you transition your feet and reach over, and now you lower yourself down on that second rope back down to earth. And
I like that. A simple take, a change on an otherwise, mundane rope climb. You've got different angles. You've got the water to contend with, and you've got a rope that's rooted down at the bottom. Yep. Now, there were people, I guess later on, they were told you had to jump to the rope, but we saw people swimming out there, so if anybody watches this, we're like, you're not supposed to do that in the water. Shut up. No, but everybody was doing it. We jumped, I had no idea. I'd never done this before.
Yeah, no one told us. So the dude to the right, when we walked by, went into the water and started and climbed up. So yeah, on later laps, we jumped.
The only instruction was from the guy with the red shirt. You have to touch the scaffolding. You have to touch the top. Yeah. Okay, I'm up here anyway. Yeah. But definitely cool. I like the transition to the slant rope there.
Cool. Number 3.
Also at Toughest Mudder.
Just staying at Toughest Mudder is called Just the Tip.
This thing was from the vault. This was like an old Tough Mudder obstacle that they had retired.
Yeah, which I never came across this. I haven't done Tough Mudders lately, but we've done a bunch of them over the years. So I liked it. I thought this one was really cool.
The attrition rate on this thing was absolutely ridiculous. There are just people falling. Those doorknobs are incredibly slippery. Yeah. They're deceiving. Yep. They don't, it's like a little piece of metal. Super slippery. Yep. I had read before going out to this thing that try to avoid the doorknobs at all costs because your grip is just going to get destroyed. Yep. You go across a piece of wood, that's easy. You have to reach one of the doorknobs at some point, but the pegs are the way to go, and they are long enough where you can just fit 2 hands if you had to. So it was like, I think I'll try and skip that one and then cross to the wood. Okay, so coming in at number 2, we absolutely loved this obstacle. We don't know what to call it other than the upgraded version of Stairway to Sparta. This was at the Spartanburg Beast and Ultra down in South Carolina, and this thing was just fantastic. Typically, it's just this bottom black section.
Yeah.
And you go from the planks or the boards, maybe about 8 foot.
It was easy. It was like you just jump up and kind of press yourself up, kind of like a Berlin Wall, and then you would climb up the A-frame top and over and climb down. So they changed this one and added
another 4 foot,
another 4 foot section of climbing holds.
So that was,
and really no spot for your feet. So it's like you just have to jump up into the climbing holds. It's like
you transitioned over here to the left. It was just
it definitely went right
brilliant.
to my, definitely went to get my feet out as quick as possible.
I was like, I tried to go.
You did the same thing with your knees on it, like once you.
Yeah, create the friction with the knees, and I put one foot on a doodad, on a handhold. Just cool. Not crazy moving parts, overly complicated. Just a real smart, simple upgrade that took an otherwise kind of gimme obstacle and made it this other thing that was really, really cool. Upper body strength all the way until you can put a leg onto something and go up to the rungs. Just really, really smart move on Spartan's part, doing just a simple thing to make it this whole other really cool obstacle. So before we get into number 1, let's talk about some honorable mentions, some cool obstacles that just missed the list. This is from Terrain Race. Terrain Race, I didn't know what to call this. You don't label your obstacles, and there was no map, so I kind of made this up. I called this their Traverse Wall. It's kind of neat.
I like it.
Some handholds you're going to see right here. You had to climb up on one set.
Shaped exactly like Olympus, just like that steep A-frame style.
Then there's a void that you have to use this like little balance beam and not fall off.
That one I'd almost say do more arm stuff.
Well, and it's cool. The arm stuff comes in the next transition. There's nothing to balance on. You got to go across with these little pegs. It was kind of cool. So a little balance with the feet, a little upper body stuff over here. And you step on some more handholds, but then you got to twang this thing that looks like an old-fashioned door stopper, and it actually goes ring. So it was cool. Not too sophisticated, but definitely fun, and we thought we should at least mention it. Okay, another honorable mention, going back to Toughest Mudder. This is a Happy Ending. Gotta love the construction on this thing. It's another massive thing.
It's big.
And we thought, oh God, we're gonna have to like stand on each other's shoulders and all this knuckleheadery. And nope, they gave us lovely ropes. And we zipped right up this thing, talking smack to each other the whole time. Then you get fooled, like this little.
We don't know how deep this trough is.
It's ankle deep. And then you go and you zip down the other end.
Down the other side, and it's like,
We literally said, whee! Going down. The water was dyed green, little chlorinated stuff goes up your nose, and boom, got to do that over and over again. Not terribly hard, but definitely fun.
It wasn't hard, but
and thumbs up on the size of the construction is very impressive. All right, coming in at number 1 for 2018 is from the West Point Spartan Sprint, the Honor Series race. Not a super duper hard one, but super creative and specific to the venue. This is Run and Gun.
Yes, definitely not hard.
Not hard, but
the fact that you have to pick up a training M16
and run with it. A lot of people didn't know what to do. They're like, I don't know what to do with my hands. The thing is, too, I've heard in other events that you have to run with the thing over your head. Okay, there's no such instruction for us.
Would have did it that way.
Pick one up
and they said go,
Start go. It was also cool at the end. They pop smoke.
They pop smoke, and you have to kind of enter the little kill house. So it's like
clear your rooms. Try not to shoot Damer in the back. He had it coming though. He wasn't playing.
And
then you trust him that he cleared that room. It was very fast. We cut some frames out of there. And you come out and you run and you just put the thing in the bin. Weight was pretty realistic. It's just you're running with a couple extra pounds in your front there.
Yeah.
And something that not everybody is used to.
I mean, what I just loved about it was that it's a venue-specific obstacle. So it's, all right, we're at West Point, and it was just a West Point obstacle that you're not going to find anywhere else, and that's awesome. And I would just wish that every other Spartan would kind of take this. I mean, it was like
do something unique.
South Carolina's
to that place,
got like the clay,
right.
like
make an Adobe house or something down there.
Or even just change the name of the obstacle and just change it a little bit so it's clay, something like have a venue specific obstacle at each one of your events. I think that would be
it makes it very special.
Yeah, it makes you want to go like, hey, what obstacle was at such and such a race, such and such a venue? And I was like, yeah, that was cool. I wish I did that one. Or it's like it would generate just some extra interest.
And it doesn't even have to be difficult.
Yeah,
it could be just fun, just like this.
Yeah, this one wasn't hard at all. It was like it was fun.
But this was definitely cool. So good job, Spartan. We've enjoyed this one very, very much. That's why for 2018, this is our favorite and #1 obstacle. All right, everybody, this has been Damer and Mac for OCR Kings, reminding you, as always, to train hard and have fun. This was our top 10 countdown for 2018. Our lights are going out, so it's time to go here. So we'll be looking forward to seeing you in 2019.
Perfect. And
cut.